Hey guys, it's Harleywood. So I have something really exciting to show you today. I'm happy to be here at KGMade with Kyle. Kyle, thank you for meeting with me, sir.
No problem. Thanks for coming in, man.
And they make something here. You've probably already clicked to see this video, so you know what it is. You saw the image on the front of the video. They make something that I'm particularly interested in. One thing I've never really shown on camera is my Ruger 1022, and he makes something that absolutely changes the game for the 1022. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you got there?
So it was actually kind of our first product, first intro into suppressors was we wanted something that would apply to really everyone or allow people to get into the suppressor market. Didn't really know much about it, but everyone has a 1022. I mean, grew up shooting. I mean, the gun's been around. This is actually like an 82 model.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around forever. So it's a very widely. There's a lot of accessories for it. It's been around a long time. But there's a couple other integrals out there for them, a couple other companies that make them. So what we did was we kind of went backwards a little bit. We thought outside of the box and just kind of came up with something that we knew would work and work for a very, very long time. Like our mentality of our products is, you're going to pay this tax stamp for it, you're going to wait 8 months for it, you're going to want this thing where it's not disposable, where it's not done after 3,000 rounds. So we went with the best quality materials we could find, but the premise behind what we did is we limited the barrel length to actually not allow a full powder burn. So you can shoot your Federal Auto Match, your Remington Thunderbolt,
Full power, so to speak.
full power, yeah, full power 22.
The devastating stuff.
Well, yeah, but anything that would produce a sonic crack.
Yep.
What we did is we made this a dedicated subgun. So short of like some really hyper velocity stuff, most bolt pack, it's like 95% of bolt pack ammo will be subsonic when it leaves the barrel.
Okay.
And we do that just by literally limiting the amount of fluting and limiting the amount of powder burn essentially behind the bullet.
Okay.
And then the other thing we did is we integrated everything into the barrel. So even though this only has a 3.9-inch barrel, it's not considered an SBR because the barrel is still actually contiguous. So we relieve it, machine out all the baffle stacks. You just have an obscene amount of volume. It's one of the things that make this so quiet. But there is some science behind it. You can actually see, if you look at each chamber, they get a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. So as the gases slow down, we actually decrease the volume per chamber. So you don't got any kind of weird resonance, any weird sounds.
Now, is that how your design was from the beginning, or did it evolve to this over time?
Like,
no. What was
no.
your initial
model? The initial model was actually very, very close to this. We actually went through 7 revisions, but the revisions were actually more barrel manufacturers than they were.
As far as who produced your blanks?
Who produced the blanks? We start out. We actually start out with a match barrel. So this is a 416 match barrel. So this is not your just cheapest one we could find. This is an expensive barrel, and we knew we had to do that to be able to still keep accuracy with such a short barrel. Like it couldn't just be a run-of-the-mill factory barrel because the chamber's not tight enough and nothing's.
To put this in perspective, a lot of people they're not gonna want to spend which if you don't want to spend $500 on a suppressor, you have an issue anyway, right? But to put this in perspective, I have some 416 stainless barrels on other guns that aren't suppressed, don't have this much work done to them. They might be fluted, and they cost almost just as much as this.
Yes.
So to put it in perspective, granted you have to pay your $200 tax stamp, but you're gonna have to do that with an end-mount suppressor.
Yeah.
This is actually, for the price, pretty amazing that you're offering him like this. Don't raise the price on me, but like I have a Battle Arms. Actually, I have 2 Battle Arms barrels, and I want to say they cost me $450 just for a fluted 16-inch barrel. And
yeah, but then get into like Elijah, like match barrel and stuff like that, and you're going to be the workhorse and stuff. I mean, you can spend some money on a non-suppressed barrel.
Yeah.
And we wanted to. That was the other goal, was to make it affordable. We wanted to make it where the other integrals in the market, we were either at or below where they were, because we know we're a new name. We're not Gemtech. Like, we're not these big manufacturers that have this established name. So we had to give the customer a better product for the similar money that they would pay elsewhere, and try to build it that way.
Now talk to us about the other product that you have here.
So next down the line was a rimfire can. We want to start with rimfire. It's kind of your gateway drug essentially, especially suppressed. If you've never shot 22 suppressed, and once you do, you're hooked. Again, we found a hole in the market of we wanted to use good materials, but we wanted modularity. You know, you see it in some of the new dead air stuff, and Rugged does some modular stuff like that. So people are wanting two configurations for the price of one, essentially.
Yep.
You know, the ATF is pretty picky about how you do stuff, so you don't have two unregistered parts. So there's some engineering you have to do to make sure that this can never be used as a second or separate suppressor. So we kind of started from scratch on this one. We actually went through more revisions on this one, more in baffle design. But again, we stepped backwards. We didn't go on Google and type, all right, baffle design, and pick one and start machining. That's not what we did. So we made, I think we did 11 baffle revisions on this.
Over what period of time?
Probably 2 months.
Okay.
2.5 months. Just we got some extra machine time, you know, amongst our other stuff. Like, all right, well, let's run a separate, run another set, and we'll test them. We have a sound meter. We want to do velocity testing. We want to do accuracy testing. And this is kind of what we came out with. We wanted something that was very light.
Talk about what is the weight on that when it's fully assembled?
Fully assembled, full weight is 4.3 ounces.
I have optics that weigh more than that.
Most people do. And in short configuration, it's like 2.4, something like that.
Wow.
So, you know,
which is about the weight of like a Trigicon MRO. You
Yes.
know, like the little tiny red
comparatively, yeah. So, like when you really think about it, you think this thing weighs a lot just because of the size, but that's why we wanted to use titanium. Again, you know, go back to the upgraded materials. We wanted something that, you know, rimfire is very caustic. It's very, very hard on the internals of cans because it's a nasty ammo.
Yep.
So we wanted something that you could clean and would last for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds.
So these are fully user serviceable, right?
Oh yes.
They can take these apart. They don't have to send them back.
That was the entire premise behind it, and one of the reasons we did what we do. So if you notice, there's no ledges. This entire can seals based on compression.
Okay.
So if you think, you know, we went back to fluid mechanics. My background's mechanical engineering. The highest seal you can ever get is on tapers.
Okay.
So the entire system is taper on taper on taper.
So they compress into
each other. So what we wanted to eliminate too was carbon coming outside of the chamber, and that's what sticks the tube. It's like the #1 rimfire suppressor issue is like, yeah, I shot like 500 rounds and I
can't get your baffles out.
Correct.
Yep.
One of our test cans that actually stays on the full auto, we're well over 8,000 rounds to that can.
Wow.
And it's never been cleaned. And it's a little snugger, but you can still pop the baffles out.
So we've got one running in there, and I think a lot of people assume that it takes 5 or 10 minutes for a machine like this to knock one of these out. How long does it take from a raw blank to produce this?
I wish it took 5 minutes.
Right.
So just the mill operation of the baffles is 1 hour and 21 minutes.
And he showed us that on the screen. I'll roll in some footage here. You can see this machine in action working. That kind of blew my mind. I think a lot of us don't realize the time and effort that goes into one of these. Now that's just the blank. How long does it take for the sleeve, end cap?
Sleeve's another probably 6 to 7 minutes. End cap with the mill op and drilling is another probably 3. Then you have finishing, and then you gotta add coating on top of that. So I mean, you could have 3 hours,
3 or 4 hours in one of these.
Yeah.
Again, considering I've paid almost this amount for something that didn't have nearly this much work into it, that's not that bad. You should probably raise your prices. Just kidding, don't do that. Kyle, so one of the first questions that I had when I contacted you was, I have a 16.1 inch barrel on mine, so I have rifling for 16 inches. This has 3.9 inches of rifling. Tell me what led you to that decision of that length and what kind of results you're getting out of it.
The length was mainly to keep it a sub gun, to limit the powder burn. So anything under about 4.5 inches of standard velocity, even supersonic ammo, will reduce the powder burn enough to give your subsonic result at the end of the barrel.
Okay.
But again, to achieve that accuracy was why we start with a match barrel. So we already have to we know that we're limited. Now, what most people know is 22 will stabilize in about 1.2 inches.
I don't think many people know that.
To keep it from tumbling. Now, it's not going to be the most accurate, but to keep it from actually tumbling, you only need a little over an inch.
Well, you
stabilize a 22 round.
you say not the most accurate, but we were talking earlier, and you said at 40 yards you were getting half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch groups, which that's better than I can shoot with my 16-inch barrel. So I consider that a win.
Yeah. 100 yards, we're staying under 3 inches at 100 yards, which, again, it's one of those, like, we get asked that, oh, what's your 100-yard grouping? Well, what's your 100-yard grouping? Like,
who shoots 100 yards with a 10-22 that regularly?
Exactly, and 10-22 is not the most accurate platform anyway. Like, if you want to punch the same hole, you're going to have a bolt.
Yeah. You've told me that this is a 3-piece design on this EOS-22. We've shown the Swarm 22 down there, how it has all the separate baffles. Show me how this comes apart.
So this is actually a monocore. So it's very, very simple. You have a titanium end cap, and it is threaded half 28. So if you happen to have a muzzle brake or something, you just need something that will compress the sleeve.
Okay.
You have a grade 9 titanium sleeve, and that's it.
3 parts.
3 pieces. Super simple, easy to clean.
Now tell me what the weight on this is again.
The entire setup's like 17 ounces.
So just over a pound. And to put that in perspective, I think the bull barrel on my 10-22 probably weighs 2.5 to 3 pounds.
Very easily, yeah. A factory 10-22 taper barrel is like 29 ounces or something like that, 30 ounces. It's quite heavy. So the biggest thing that we get out of our setup is just sheer reduction in weight.
When I talk about the weight of this one versus mine, we were playing around with that earlier. This one is tremendously lighter than mine.
It's very noticeable until when you really start shooting a lot and you really enjoy it.
So we've covered your Swarm 22, we've covered the EOS-22, but I hear you guys have something else coming out. What do you have in your hand?
So this is a collaboration project with the guys at Onstud Arms in Charlotte. They make a really, really nice, reliable 9mm arrow platform. Glock fed, uses all standard M16 control group. All M16 standard AR accessories, but me and him kind of talked, and there was kind of a hole in the market for a reliable, user-adjustable, user-serviceable 9mm integral setup. There's some other companies that have done some in the past, and they didn't seem to do that well. He has a lot of international customers that are used to the MP5 SDs and stuff like that, so we designed something that is a fully adjustable port system. Built into a full integral assembly. You can tailor your velocity by closing and opening ports based on what ammo you're shooting and what you want as an end result. So if there's a certain muzzle energy or certain muzzle velocity you want to maintain, but you're shooting all kinds of different ammo, you can tune the system to whatever you want.
So this is very similar to your EOS-22 where you can slide the sleeve off. Can you show us that?
So it's same kind of thing. Just really a threaded end cap. Titanium sleeve, keeps everything nice and light. What we did a little different is we designed this for as much military and law enforcement as civilian use. So full 17.4 heat treated baffle stack, so it's full auto rated. You can run this thing as hard as you want all day long. It's going to take it. And you can kind of see in here, and so on this model, it's a 11 3/4 inch overall. So it's a 6-inch barrel with about a 5 3/4, 5.9-inch core. It's pinned and welded. So this would be, if it was built in a pistol form, it would be a single stamp. In a carbine or rifle form, it's a 2-stamp.
And you mentioned earlier, this is the full auto, so this is, what'd you call it?
This is all the stamps.
All the stamps.
But again, for military law enforcement, it runs all M16 internal. So
like Glock mag fed.
Glock mag fed. It'll run we run ETS mags, Pro mags, standard Glock mags. It'll run pretty much anything. The other thing about Onstud's uppers is they will run on any 9mm loader. So if you have some old Colt stuff, if you have QC10, if you have PSA, whatever. We're also selling just the suppressed upper, but if you already have an existing gun, have a trigger built into it, have your whole setup, there's no reason to change the upper. Correct.
Cool. And so we know about the tax stamp. Based on your configuration, you're going to have however many tax stamps.
Yes.
What is the market price going to be on this?
MSRP is $2,000 for the whole gun.
For the whole gun. That's not just the upper. That's not just the barrel, the integral barrel. That is the entire gun. I'll post links in the description below, obviously, where you can reach out to Kyle if you're interested. But I think we're actually going to go shoot a couple things now. You ready?
Let's go. All right.
Now I don't know how well that's, because that's obviously going to change.
It's gonna clip.
It's going to clip the audio, but you should be able to tell in general.
You'll be able to tell in tone.
That's true.
Didn't have
Nice. Jeez.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. You want to shoot it?
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to put Kyle's contact information in the description below. Feel free to reach out to him if you're interested in one of these products. I think I'm going to have to get me one of those EOS-22s, and I had a buddy that was with me helping me film, and he's particularly interested in that Swarm 22. So some really cool stuff coming out of KGMade. That 9mm stuff coming out soon. If you're interested in that, hit him up. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the factory tour. It's the first one that I've ever done on the channel, and he was local. I figured, why not? Let's show some people, you know, kind of more in depth on what it takes to make one of these things. So, thank you for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button below. More videos to come, and we'll see you on the next one. I should probably have ears on, huh? You guys want them, or are you good? I got another set. Not that it's extremely loud, but
I've shot plenty of 22 without you.
yeah, I do too. But on camera, some assholes.
Under here though.
Oh, that's true.
It echoes like.
You'll get some asshole on camera. You should have ear pro on.
Yeah.
Of course, I just recorded myself saying that, so I should roll that in
Yeah.
as B footage. For you assholes who are watching, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.